Hey, what's up guys? Double Wide 6, and today I'm working on a snow blower. We started getting some snow here and the snow blowers are starting to come in. I've been keeping pretty busy. I had a couple motors that I redid out here. These are 4 horsepower motors, so I'm playing around with them. They're both running good. I got a commercial Toro 2-cycle, which I need to take a look at. I haven't even looked at it. And I got this tractor going on here, and now a snowblower just came in. This snowblower is a 5 horsepower Tecumseh. It's branded Simplicity. I think it's called the Snowaway model. Good shape, mid-90s. I like the metal chute. I like the metal gearing. The biggest problem I see with these Simplicities is they tend to clog a little more than some of the other brands. But this is a solid machine. I see it's got an extra set of shear pins right there. So we're going to go through. The carburetor is going to need work on this one, and I'm not sure what all it needs. Looks like the tires, there's some sort of sealer on there. I noticed the tires were a little flat when I put it up on the table today. So we'll go through this one together and see what we find. And it doesn't have the electric start, so just adding a little fuel there in that spark plug hole. Plug looks alright. Fuel's shut off, so that's a good sign. Well, looks like she'll be a runner. Well, just the smell of that firing off there, I can smell how stale that fuel is in there. So we'll start pulling this air box off, and I'm not sure. We might need to remove the rod to slide this off. There we go. This knob has to slide off, and it's on there pretty tight, and the rod may be in the way here. Maybe not. Looks like I can just snake it out of there. Alright, let's take a look. Well, right from the get-go, I could tell someone was in here screwing around with this thing. It's nice and wet, like it's leaking gas. If you look in here, you could see how nasty and syrupy that is, and that's probably most of the smell. The linkage, just so you know, it goes on the bottom here, and it goes, there's several holes up here. It goes in that hole right there, and it's a 5 horsepower Tecumseh, and I usually just mark these in case I order parts and don't get it back together today. So we'll engrave a little mark there so we know where it goes, and might as well do the other side while we're at it. Okay. Another giveaway that someone's been in here is that on these Tecumseh's, the bowl's recessed, and it should be, you could tell the bowl's turned. It was put on wrong. So yeah, someone was definitely fiddling around with this thing. Well, what do you say we take this bowl nut off? Because I have a feeling this bowl is going to be pretty nasty looking. This is really tight coming out. I'm wondering if this isn't cross-threaded in there. It's turning, but it doesn't seem like it's getting any looser. I think it's alright. Oh man, it's still pretty tight. Well, we'll take a close-up look at these. Let's pop the bowl off here. Oh my gosh, it's like it's welded on there. Nasty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the entire carb here. I was just going to pull the bowl, but after looking at that, it's looking pretty rough. So I'm going to pull the muffler so I can get into the intake manifold. There's a clamp, so we'll try and get on there. Okay, we got the clamp, and got these fuel line remover pliers. It always helps when you turn the fuel line a little, wiggle it. This baby's really stuck on here. Fuel line looks like it's in decent shape. It's just a little bit stiff. There we go. And I do have a fuel shut off. Here's a look at the goods. You can see a very thick varnish on here. I'm not sure if there was an additive in the fuel or if that's just fuel, but it looks like it's going to come off, and everything seems to have that coating. This is the main jet with an adjustment needle, and yeah, this is what we have. So what we're going to do with this thing is we're going to go through and disassemble it, and I'm going to try and soak it and see if I can't get it running right in my ultrasonic cleaner. A lot of times it's not even worth your effort to do that. It's just easier and faster to buy a new carburetor And they make these Chinese carburetors that work quite well for these machines. And you can pick them up for like 15 bucks. So to pay someone to clean your carburetor, it's probably not worth it. But this snowblower belongs to me, and you know, I don't mind spending time working on stuff like this. I enjoy it as a hobby. So we're just going to keep taking everything apart here, and we'll take a look at the pieces. I'm going to remove this choke bracket. Well, if you look in here, this carburetor is completely caked up in tar. If you look in here, I don't even know what that white thing is. Looks like a piece of plastic or something, or a tooth, or a piece of corn. It's a piece of corn. So, was there a mouse running through there? Apparently. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring this thing back. It's going to definitely require a long soak, and so I'm going to take a twist bit, just a small bit, and see if I can work it up. There we go. It's stuck in there. So we'll spin it a few times, and you can see all that black coming out. So I think I'm going to go through and just give everything a preliminary cleaning with some brakes parts cleaner, and then we'll soak this thing for a day or two. Okay, so I soaked the carb in Purple Power. I let it soak for about 12 hours or so, and it's unbelievable how clean this actually got. In fact, the other day when I took it apart, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to clean it and get it running right, so I ordered another carb. So I haven't gotten it yet, but you know, if this one doesn't work, I can use that. But I did about 12 hours worth of Purple Power, and then I ran it several cycles, probably about 5 or 6 in my ultrasonic cleaner. And in the ultrasonic cleaner, I just have a little Dawn dish soap and water, and I used the heated cycle on that. If you're interested in how to rebuild this carburetor, I've made several videos on it, and what I will do is put a link at the end of this video to another video. I believe it's called something like how to start a snowblower that's been sitting for a long time, and you can watch that video because it goes more in depth into how to rebuild the carburetor. So that looks good. I already replaced the seat. I noticed the main jet was actually missing the gasket on the bottom. I didn't even realize that when I took it apart. And when I was taking this out, it felt like it was possibly cross-threaded a little bit. And now it doesn't seem to want to go in. It's definitely not threading on there right. This is brass. I'm going to try another one of these adjustment screws. Hang on a sec. Just want to see what's going on with this thing. Good. So this casting's aluminum and this is brass. I'm going to see if I have a tap for this. Hold on. So I did find a tap that would fit. It's a 5/16 24. 5/16 24. And I'm just gonna run this thing down here. I'm going to need to put this in the vise. Okay, we got it chucked up in the vise. And we're going to go through, and I probably only need to do the tip of this thing. Brass is very soft. It feels better. I may have damaged this thing because I did clean it on a real fine wire brush. So I'm going to blow this off. We'll see if it fits. Well, as I was running that through that die, I did see it take off a fair amount of material. Man, that is nice. And it was making me nervous that I had the wrong die. But I checked the die with the good part I had. This one went right in, no problem. But as you can see, that fit pretty nice. So I got everything back together, and I set the bottom screw out a turn and a half, and the idle screw I turned out 1 turn. And we'll hook up our linkage. And we'll start one of these screws just to get it to hold itself up. And I also flushed out the fuel tank off camera, and I'm kind of doubtful that this carburetor is actually going to run right, but we'll see. It is a pain, and I did waste a lot of time if it doesn't run properly, so I'm going to have to do everything again. And I ordered the new replacement carb. It doesn't have the adjustment screw on the bottom, but it should work anyhow. And I think it was like 12 bucks or something. So it's probably worth it to get a new carb rather than going through the trouble of fixing these. Alright, so that's there. I cut about a 1/4 inch off the primer line, and if there's a hole in the primer, if you put your finger over the hole and you try and prime it, you should feel air pressure. If you're losing air pressure when you do this, then you know this has a crack in it, but this one's good. So we'll pop that on there. Alright, we got it all on there. I'm gonna turn on this fuel valve. And I just want to check that we're getting fuel out of the bowl. There's a little drain plug here. There we go, so that's good. And I want to make sure the linkages are moving freely. Alright, everything's looking good. We gotta put the muffler on, it looks like. Last thing we need to do is put this heater box on here, but I'm going to have to tune the carburetor, so I'll leave that off. And I'm kind of thinking this thing will run at least, but I have a feeling it's not going to run properly. So let me put the key in here and get all my tools out of the way, and I'll try and get this thing started up, and we'll see what happens. That was choke. Well guys, I'm just sucking the oil out of this thing. I'm really impressed with how it runs. I did not expect it to run so well, but yeah, it looks like it's a good machine. It's been stored indoors and taken care of. It just had the stale fuel issue and a gummed up carburetor. So looks like I'll be getting a extra carburetor in the mail. But these Tecumsehs are, these 5 horsepowers are pretty popular engines on these things. So I'll be able to use it for another one. Anyhow, don't forget to hit the notification bell and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you.